a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toad.
1973 kept turntables busy. FM dials bounced from slide guitar boogies to piano bar tails, while AM stations slipped a reggae Zeppelin cut between two Southern Road songs and called it a day. Here are 13 tracks from that year that still cue an instinctive reach for the volume knob, plus one bonus that took its time but earned its place in rock history. Number 1, Money, Pink Floyd.
Money, it's a hit.
7 clinks, rips, and clunks. Roger Waters made a tape loop of cash register chatter at his kitchen table in January 1972, counted it out in 7/4, and carried the reel to Abbey Road. On the 7th of June 1972, the band stacked the track in Studio 3.
First class traveling section, I think I need a lift.
Nick Mason behind a Ludwig kit taped into a tight circle, David Gilmour playing a Fender Precision for the walking bass, then swapping to his black Strat for a guitar break so bright the VU meters bang the end stops. A sax solo from Dick Parry finished the job. Harvest didn't think British radio would touch odd meter blues, so only the United States got a 45, shipped the 7th of May 1973 with Any Color You Like on the flip. American programmers tried to fade at the solo and gave up. Listeners phoned in asking why the cash machine stopped. Money reached number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100 on the 28th of July 1973. The first time Pink Floyd had cracked the U.S. Top 40. Capitol pressed 1.4 million singles before year-end. And The Dark Side of the Moon started its leisurely 736-week stroll up and down the album chart. UK fans paid import prices or taped it off Radio Luxembourg, proving that even in 1973, money talked and everybody happily listened. Number 2, Smoke on the Water, Deep Purple. A flare gun torched Montreux Casino on the 4th of December 1971 during a Frank Zappa set. The next morning, Ritchie Blackmore tried out a 4-note guitar line that felt as blunt as the burned-out shell outside. Deep Purple, exiled to the Grand Hotel, recorded the tale on the Rolling Stones' mobile studio parked in the snow. Ian Gillan sang in the hallway. Ian Pace shoved his drum kit into a ballroom corner, and the mobile's engineers ran extension cables past melted slot machines. The master was mixed at Delane Lea, London on the 18th of March 1972 and buried mid-LP on Machine Head. Warner Brothers finally cut a single for the United States on the 6th of May 1973, trimming the solo and fading at 3 minutes 48 seconds. FM stations ignored the edit and played the full version anyway. The record climbed to number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 by the 25th of August 1973 and hit 1 million U.S. sales before Christmas. UK listeners waited nearly 4 more years. EMI issued a 45 in February 1977 that reached number 21, by which time No Smoke on the Water signs already decorated guitar shop walls from Camden to Kansas City. Montreux later named its lakeside promenade Rue de Deep Purple, and local swans now endure daily attempts at that famous 4-note greeting from buskers with battery amps. Number 3, Dream On, Aerosmith. Steven Tyler wrote the melody on his parents' upright piano when he was 17, then stored it until Aerosmith landed a deal with Columbia in 1972. The band tracked the song at Intermedia Studios, Boston on the 15th of October 1972. Tyler at the Steinway, Joe Perry coaxing feedback from a Les Paul through a Fender Twin, producer Adrian Barber leaving plenty of air around Brad Whitford's clean rhythm part. Columbia released the single on the 6th of June 1973. Outside New England, it crawled, number 59 on the Billboard Hot 100 in August, while Boston's WBCN played it often enough to convince locals Aerosmith were already huge. The label reissued the same take in December 1975. That time it shot to number 6 on the Hot 100 by the 27th of March 1976, finally giving the song the chart position its vocal high note had been aiming for all along. Columbia pressed more than 1 million U.S. copies across the 2 runs. In the UK, import sales nudged Dream On to number 48 in May of 1976, before the BBC decided Tyler's Shriek could stand shoulder to shoulder with Freddie Mercury's.
Dream on, dream on, dream on, dream on.
Number 4, Ramblin' Man, the Allman Brothers Band. Dickie Betts wrote the highway lyric at a farm outside Macon, Georgia, lifting the title phrase from Hank Williams' 1951 single and deciding Hank wouldn't mind. The band cut the track at Capricorn Studios on the 1st of May 1973. Betts on a 57 Les Paul Gold Top, Les Dudek adding finger-picked acoustic, Lamar Williams anchoring the low end 6 weeks into his new job on bass. Producer Johnny Sadlin kept the drums dry so twin lead guitars could slide across the stereo field without tripping over each other. Capricorn issued the single on the 28th of July, 1973. It entered Billboard's Hot 100 at number 65 and peaked at number 2 on the 20th of October, held back only by Cher's Half-Breed. In Canada, it reached number 5, and in the UK, where southern draws were rarer on radio, it climbed to number 12. The parent album, Brothers and Sisters, hit stores on the 1st of August 1973 and parked at number 1 on the Billboard 200 for 5 weeks, shipping 1 million U.S. copies by Thanksgiving. Betts' closing guitar run became every bar band's license to stretch closing time by exactly 30 seconds. Number 5, Angie, the Rolling Stones.
Angie, I still love you where you are.
Keith Richards worked out the acoustic pattern at Villa Nelcote in southern France during the last days of 1972 rehab, naming it Angie because daughter Angela was due in the spring. Tabloids later credited everyone from Angela Bowie to a Berlin barmaid. The band finished the song at Dynamic Sound, Kingston, Jamaica, on the 17th of May, 1973. Nicky Hopkins played the Steinway, Mick Taylor added the nylon string fills, and arranger Nick Harrison wrote a small string chart. That manager Andrew Oldham called pocket-sized Tchaikovsky. Rolling Stones Records released the single in the United States on the 20th of August, 1973, 1 week ahead of the album Goat's Head Soup. It entered the Billboard Hot 100 at number 79 and hit number 1 on the 20th of October, moving 1 million U.S. copies for an RIAA gold disc by Christmas. In the UK, the track landed on the 31st of August 1973, climbing to number 5 in 4 weeks, helped by a top-of-the-pop spot where Mick Jagger, battling laryngitis, mostly mouthed the words. Australian radio kept Angie in medium rotation for 50 consecutive weeks, long enough for the Sydney Morning Herald to ask whether the nation would ever break up with the song. Number 6, The Joker, Steve Miller Band.
I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toad.
Steve Miller pieced together the verses at Capitol Studios, Hollywood, across 3 late-night sessions in August 1973, tossing references to Space Cowboy, Maurice, and the mysterious Pompatus of Love, a word he misheard on a 1954 doo-wop single and decided was too good to leave in the past.
And I'm a sinner, I play my music in the sun.
Lonnie Turner tracked the bass direct into an Echoplex, giving the low end its rubbery wobble, while Miller played slide on a Les Paul Jr. through a cranked Fender Princeton. Capitol issued the single on the 17th of October 1973. KMET Los Angeles spun it 8 times the first day, and by New Year's week, it sat at number 2. On the 12th of January 1974, The Joker reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, holding the spot for 1 week and selling 1.3 million U.S. singles by March.
Beaches want to shake your tree.
Canada followed suit at number 1, The UK mostly shrugged until a Levi's ad in 1990 pushed the 17-year-old track to number 1 there as well, making Miller the rare artist to top the British chart twice with the same recording. FCC reviewers eyed the line, "Really love your peaches," decided it was probably fruit, and let daytime spins proceed without a bleep. Number 7, Radar Love, Golden Earring.
We've got a thing that's called Radar Love.
Dutch guitarist George Kooijmans wrote the galloping medley on a ferry between Amsterdam and Hull, figuring a song about telepathic driving instructions needed to start on open water. Golden Earring tracked it at Soundpush Studios, Blaricum, on the 8th of July, 1973.
Radio Springs unforgotten song.
Barry Hay doubled his vocal an octave up for the chorus, while drummer Cesar Swidervik recorded the tom-toms standing because the kit kept sliding across the parquet floor. Polydor rushed the single into the Netherlands on the 5th of August, 1973. It hit number 1 2 weeks later and stayed parked for 4. UK release followed on the 23rd of February, 1974, climbing to number 10 by mid-April after John Peel declared it perfect for overtaking tractors on the A1. Track Record shipped the U.S. pressing on the 25th of March, 1974. By the 17th of August, it sat at number 13 on the Hot 100, giving the Hegg Quartet their only American top 20. Cashbox reported 250,000 U.S. singles sold in 3 months, with Los Angeles car stereo shops noting a spike in blown rear speakers the same summer. The song has since logged more than 500 recorded covers, and an uncounted number of speeding tickets attributed to "It just came on the radio, officer."
We don't need no letter at all. We've got a thing that's
Number 8, La Grange, ZZ Top.
here, it's fine.
Billy Gibbons found the shuffling groove after a late-night run through John Lee Hooker's Boogie Chillin', then dialed it up on his 1959 Les Paul Pearly Gates, plugged straight into a Marshall Super Lead, dimed to neighbor complaint volume. The band tracked the tune at Robin Hood Studios in Tyler, Texas, on the 12th of December, 1972. Frank Beard keeping time on a Ludwig kick that still had barbecue joint napkins stuffed in the shell. London Records slipped the single into U.S. stores on the 15th of April, 1973, without much fanfare. Houston FM giant KLOL picked it up first, and by early August, every rock station south of the Mason-Dixon was teaching listeners how to pronounce "ha ha ha." The song peaked at number 41 on the Billboard Hot 100 on the 8th of June, 1974. Respectable for a lyric that spends half its life laughing, and helped the album Tres Hombres reach number 8, ZZ Top's first U.S. Top 10. Texas tourism officials claim out-of-state inquiries about the Real Chicken Ranch brothel jumped 15% that summer, proving once again that nothing sells folklore like a guitar tuned to open A and a 3-note intro parents can hum by mistake.
Thing I know, hey.
Number 9, Jamaica, Led Zeppelin.
Every breath I take.
Robert Plant pitched the reggae-tilted idea during a rainy afternoon at Stargrove's, Mick Jagger's Hampshire estate, on the 19th of May, 1972. John Bonham answered with a halftime drum thump so heavy, the mobile studio meters clipped even before Jimmy Page added his Telecaster through a cranked orange amp. The working title read Jamaica, but a band joke, "My wife's gone on holiday, Jamaica?" No, she went of her own accord, mangled it into Jamaica. Atlantic issued the single in the United States on the 17th of December, 1973, 4 months after Houses of the Holy hit shelves. The label skipped a UK release, guessing London DJs would faint at the pun before the first chorus. American Top 40 programmers, equally puzzled by the spelling, filed it under "whatever, it sounds like summer," and pushed the track to number 20 on the Billboard Hot 100 by the 23rd of March, 1974. College radio kept it spinning through graduation season, and the parent album shipped 3 million U.S. copies by Christmas. Island reggae purists sent unhappy letters. Bonham reportedly read them, laughed, and used one as a coaster at a pub in Worcestershire. Proof that sometimes even the mail can't find the right address for a title nobody can pronounce. Number 10, Knockin' on Heaven's Door. Sam Peckinpah needed a dying sheriff theme for Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. Bob Dylan took a hotel notepad in Durango, Mexico, wrote 2 short verses, and cut the song at Burbank Studios on the 12th of February, 1973, with Booker T. Jones on organ and drummer Jim Keltner brushing the snare so softly the engineer asked if his headphones were working. Columbia rushed a single ahead of the film, shipping it to U.S. radio on the 13th of July, 1973. It entered the Billboard Hot 100 at number 76, climbed to number 12 on the 29th of September, 1973, and sold 700,000 statewide copies by Thanksgiving. Solid numbers for a track that clocks barely 2 minutes 30. In the UK, it reached number 6, giving Dylan his first British top 10 since Lay Lady Lay 4 years earlier. Clapton's reggae-flavored cover surfaced in January 1975, the first of more than 150 commercial versions. Guns N' Roses later stretched it past 6 minutes, proving some doors keep getting a knock long after closing time. Number 11, China Grove, the Doobie Brothers. Tom Johnston sketched the main guitar line during a 3 a.m. rehearsal at Warner Brothers Studios, North Hollywood, in early January 1973, naming it after a highway sign he'd glimpsed outside San Antonio. He assumed China Grove was a myth until Texas fans mailed him postcards to prove otherwise. The band tracked the tune on the 8th of January, Jeff "Skunk" Baxter laying a sly pentatonic break, while producer Tad Templeman punched the talkback to shout, "One more pass! Louder!" Warner issued the single on the 25th of July, 1973, as the third cut from The Captain and Me. KHJ Los Angeles and WLS Chicago playlisted it day one. The record peaked at number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100 on the 20th of October, 1973, and logged 11 weeks in the top 40. The single never charted in the UK, but BBC Radio 1 jocks used the opening 4 bars as a bed under travel reports, quietly sneaking the Doobies into morning rush hour. A 1974 survey by Dallas station KZEW ranked China Grove the most requested road trip song in North Texas. Appropriate, since the real town has only one main street, and according to its Chamber of Commerce, 0 samurai swords, despite the lyrics' suggestion otherwise. Number 12, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, Elton John. Bernie Taupin drafted the lyric after a rough evening at the Aston Arms pub in Market Raise in Lincolnshire. The place closed at 11. Fists sometimes stayed open later. Elton and the band cut the track at Chateau d'Herville outside Paris on the 21st of May, 1973. Davy Johnston ran a Les Paul through 2 over-cranked Fender Twins, double-tracking the intro until the tape almost blurred. While Nigel Olsson thumped so hard, engineers wedged bricks against the kick drum spurs. Producer Gus Dudgeon insisted on first-take vocals to keep the barroom edge. Elton nailed the yell, "Get a little action in," then asked for a throat lozenge and a record. DJM issued the single in the UK on the 29th of June, 1973. MCA followed in the US on the 24th of July. BBC Radio 1 flagged the song lyrically aggressive, but played it after 7 p.m. anyway. It reached number 7 on the UK singles chart by the 21st of July and number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 on the 6th of October. shifting 750,000 US copies before the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album even hit stores. Canadian stations pushed it to number 3, while Australia gave Elton his 5th straight top 10 of the decade. Stage crews have rolled out the song as set opener on nearly every tour since 1973. Fresh strings, same invitation to lose your polite indoor voice for 4 minutes. Number 13, Give Me Love, Give Me Peace on Earth, George Harrison.
Give me peace on earth, give me life, give me life.
Harrison wrote the chorus during a jet-lagged slide guitar warm-up in his Henley-on-Thames studio, then finished the verse on the back of a Harrods receipt. Tracking took place at Apple in London on the 24th of October 1972. Nicky Hopkins on upright piano, Klaus Voormann on Fender Jazz bass, Jim Keltner working brushes instead of sticks, and Harrison overdubbing 2 slide leads that cross like polite commuters. Apple sent acetates to Capitol, and the single reached U.S. radio on the 7th of May 1973, just in time to give Harrison a chart duel with former bandmate Paul McCartney, whose My Love sat at number 1. 3 weeks later, Give Me Love nudged past, topping the Billboard Hot 100 on the 30th of June 1973 and selling 1 million American singles by Labor Day.
Won't you please, oh, won't you give me love?
In the UK, the record peaked at number 8, its gently spiritual lyrics sneaking onto a playlist that still preferred songs about either cars or heartbreak. President Jimmy Carter requested the track for a 1977 White House yoga event, prompting Harrison to quip that it was the first time a slide guitar got diplomatic clearance. The song remains a fixture of satellite radio yacht rock hours, proving even meditative pleas can earn their deck chair next to louder company. Before we wrap, there's one more track I couldn't leave off this list. It didn't crack the top of the charts right away, and some would argue it's not pure rock, but its story, its sound, and its impact have made it a timeless classic. Let's hit the bonus. Piano Man, Billy Joel.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song.
Billy Joel spent 6 months in 1972 hiding from a bad contract, playing under the name Bill Martin at the Executive Room Piano Bar on Wilshire Boulevard. Every tipper became a verse. Davy, the Navy lifer, Paul, the real estate novelist who never wrote a line, and an actual bartender named John who still keeps framed lyrics behind the counter.
He's quick with a joke, ought to light up your smoke.
Joel cut the song at Devonshire Sound, Los Angeles on the 19th of September 1973, layering mouth organ over a Steinway B while bassist Larry Knechtel filled the low end on a tack piano. Columbia issued the single on the 2nd of November 1973, 5 weeks before the album of the same name. It entered Billboard's Hot 100 at number 94, edged to number 25 by the 13th of April 1974, and logged 14 weeks on the chart. Not bad for 5 minutes 38 seconds of bar chatter in three-quarter time. Canada pushed it to number 10. In the UK, a 1974 release crept to number 35, only to become pub sing-along law after every karaoke machine in Britain filed the title under Get Ready for Last Call. The Parrot LP reached number 27 on the Billboard 200, and by 2011, the single had sold 3 million US downloads, most likely purchased at 11 p.m. by people who should have been heading home. So that's the stack. Which 1973 cut still makes you miss a green light? Drop the title below and let us know what year we should spin next.